Check out this cool shirt my wife made me for this series. What is up, my beautiful viewers? Welcome back. Been gone a short spell and kind of behind here, but it is what it is. If you're a first time viewer here, thank you for watching. All of you, please join me. Let's take a walk in the night, shall we? Today we're going to be beginning a deep dive or diving deep into the beautiful, bloody, and brilliant world of horror movies. The only genre that makes you pay money to have your soul gently violated and then thank it for the experience. People love to ask, why do we watch horror? Why do we willingly let ourselves get chased by demons, stabbed by mass killers, haunted by creepy little girls crawling out of TVs? Well, Wes Craven noted that horror allows us to confront and release societal fears, acting as boot camps for the psyche by managing fear through narrative. John Carpenter described monsters as reflections of ourselves, representing the dark sides of human nature, and David Cronenberg viewed these films as art that forces viewers to confront difficult aspects of life. So, why do we watch horror? Who knows? But we do. A lot of people love it. I am one of them. Thank you for joining me. When it comes to horror, I have a major love for the genre as a whole. I'm not sure why, but always have. I've always loved all things spooky. And when it comes to what my favorite horror franchise is, it's so hard to pick what I like more. Is it Friday? Is it Nightmare? Scream? Chucky or Child's Play? Texas Chainsaw Massacre? I like them all. So how do I narrow it down? How do I narrow down what my favorite is? Is it kills? Scares? Ah. Killer and killer portrayal? Only Nightmare on Elm Street and Chucky have real continuity of their killer, so nah. I came down to the decision that it has to be one with the most movies that are endlessly rewatchable. For me personally, and I landed on Child's Play, but I do love Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. So again, what's my favorite? I don't know that I have one. Friday the 13th and Chucky and Nightmare are all pretty closely tied, although Nightmare's in third place only because, as a franchise, only because Friday and Chucky or Child's Play has the most movies that I like to watch, whereas Nightmare, there's only four of them I truly care for. Both Child's Play and Friday the 13th were franchises that were my first introduction to actual non Disney scary movies. With it becoming summer, I was deciding that I was going to start covering Friday the 13th. Child's Play and Chucky is coming, but not yet. So now, welcome to the inaugural episode of what is going to be an annual series for this channel. I'm calling it Summer Scary, where we'll go into different horror franchises and give them the council meeting treatments or just regular reviews, mostly council meeting treatments. For this inaugural season, I thought maybe I could do Tremors, Friday, Nightmare, Scream. Like I stated in my opening, I had decided to do Friday the 13th. But when writing, I realized I was doing a beginning script for Freddy vs. Jason, and man, did I enjoy writing and looking into the nightmare side of Freddy vs. Jason. And so now it's like, man, do I keep writing for Friday? Do I switch it to Nightmare? And I thought, Steve, you don't know how long you'll get to do this channel. And thanks to the existence of the movie Freddy vs. Jason, they do pair so well together. So this is a nightmare on Friday the 13th. Episode 1, obviously, Friday the 13th from 1980. Before I get going further and actually diving into the movie, while viewing these movies with and writing along with my wife, watching the second Friday the 13th movie, she asked me who I'd say wins with each movie versus each movie. Friday 2 versus Nightmare 2, so on and so forth all throughout. Who wins between the two? And so I was like, I hadn't thought about adding that in, but you know what? This whole thing is leading into Freddy versus Jason, so she's absolutely correct. Let's add that in. So, my plan for each time I cover a Friday and Nightmare film, at the end of the Nightmare film, I will cover Friday first, then Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, just like that. That's how they'll be released. So, at the end of the Friday or the Nightmare on Elm Street film, I will be announcing who I think wins out of the two based on what happens in the movie, kills, things like that. Okay. This will be predetermined before each walkthrough through the writing process, of course. I will be doing a tally all the way through until their big fight in Freddy vs. Jason, and I'll be choosing those killer victories similar to how I did with Remake Rumble videos. I will base it on what killer from those specific films I would want have coming after me the least. Each film will be graded on getting Key to the City and Exiled, best kill in each film, and Nightmare on Elm Street films will have a best nightmare sequence added in at the end of the video. And then, of course, each nightmare review will also have the Freddy versus Jason tally updated as I go throughout the franchises. Clear as mud? Sweet. Let's get to camp. Friday the 13th is one of the more polarizing franchises in the horror zeitgeist. And I feel it has the biggest fan base overall. I could be wrong. There's probably, there's so many different horror franchises and horror movies, but whatever. Let's get this council meeting going. First, let's go over the director. Sean S. Cunningham, born in 1941, a New Jersey guy who started in the poor making dirty movies before teaming up with Wes Craven on Last House on the Left. Dude saw Halloween raking in cash and thought, I can do that, but cheaper, bloodier. Let's rip off Halloween. Direct quote. He slapped together a script, called it A Long Night at Camp Blood, rebranded it to Friday the 13th mid-production just to evict a reaction, and shot the whole thing for a whopping $550,000 in a freezing New Jersey Boy Scout camp. Camp Bosco. There we go. The man wanted a pure roller coaster ride, no deep meaning, just jump scares, gore, and teenagers dying for box office dollars. He nailed it. He made 60 million worldwide. Cunningham basically invented the let's reopen the cursed camp trope and never looked back. He's a legend. Score and special effects are the real MVPs of this franchise. Harry Manfredini cooked up one of the most iconic horror scores ever in his buddy's basement in just 2 weeks. The key, ma, 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 straight from Pamela's deranged killer mommy, killer rant at the end of this film. He whispered it into the mic and ran it through an echo machine, and boom, instant nightmare fuel. The music only kicks in when the killer's around. Genius. Pure Jaws meets Psycho type vibes. And then there's Tom Savini, the Sultan of Splatter himself. He is fresh off of Dawn of the Dead. Dude built latex guts in the camp's pizza oven. We're talking arrow through the throat, axe in the face, arrows pinning a guy to a door like a pincushion, the grand finale decapitation, practical effects so nasty the MPAA lost their minds. Some of it is peak 80s gore. None of that CGI nonsense. Tom Savini earns a point for this movie. We open in 1958 at Camp Crystal Lake and are introduced to Barry and Claudette, played by Willie Adams and Deborah Hayes, respectively, two horny liar counselors who were just singing Christian spiritual Michael Row the Boat Ashore, decide to sneak off for a naughty activity of, as Chloe and Avery would put it, arguing. Anyways, it cuts to them making out on the floor. Her shirt's open, his pants are coming off, and they get got by someone. Lame deaths. Cut to 1980, June 13th, the titular Friday the 13th. The camp's been cursed ever since little Jason Voorhees drowned in 57 because the counselors were too busy being naughty or arguing to watch him. And there was an issue with the water and the killings in the opening. New owner Steve Christie, played by Peter Brower, is like curses are for losers and hires a fresh batch of counselors to reopen. Enter the cutest of the counselors, Annie, played by Robbie Morgan, the bubbly cook hitching a ride Locals mess with her about Camp Blood. Local crazy Ralph, played by Walt Gorney, says his now staple, "You'll never come back again." Then a trucker gives her a ride and gets him a handful of booty to help her into the cab. Yikes. Then goes on to warn her as they go down the road, that place is dead, DEAD, and calls her a dumb kid for not listening to all the warnings. I mean, fair enough. Later, she gets picked up by a mysterious Jeep driver whose Jeep looks suspiciously like Steve's. Whenever the driver passes the turn at Camp Crystal Lake, she ends up jumping out of the Jeep and she gets pursued on foot by someone who looks suspiciously like a man. This is the first kill of the franchise that is not from the very beginning. The film then cuts to the weirdest needle drop I think I've ever seen, where we get our ears blown out by a banjo diddley composed by Manfredini himself, and we meet three more counselors: Jack, the pre-footloose Kevin Bacon, Marcy, played by Janine Taylor, and Ned, played by Mark Nelson. At camp, we meet Alice, played by Adrienne King, Bill, played by Harry Crosby, and Brenda, played by Laurie Bartram. If you saw my remake Rumble for Friday the 13th, you remember that you probably remember that I said that Laurie Bartram was always believed by me to be the same actress who played Alex Cabot in SVU. It's not. Anyways, Alice and Steve are painting cabins, ignoring crazy Ralph, and Steve bounces off for supplies. Ned scares Brenda with an arrow as a failed dangerous flirtation of some sort, and then there's a shadowy figure, and he, for some reason, finds it to be a good idea to follow. Classic bad idea. Jack and Marcy are mid hookup in a bunk when, bam, it's revealed that Ed's corpse is in the top bunk. There is just 0% chance that Kevin Bacon didn't see him. Kevin Bacon stands clearly a head over the top bunk. He would have noticed that body laying there. Marcy ends up heading out for a little pee break in between coituses, and boom! She gets an axe straight to the face. This is Savini's gore glory. Jack gets the legendary arrow to the throat while smoking. The rest of the crew are playing your average everyday choice of strip Monopoly when Brenda realizes she thinks she left her windows open, so she bounces because, it's rainy moms and sons out there. Later, she hears a little boy's voice. It sounds like it's asking for help. She gets lured to the archery range, floodlights flip on, and guess what? She gone. Because again, they don't show us the cool deaths. Phone lines are cut, power goes out, Steve returns and gets straight up stabbed in the gut at the gate, which it just screams lame death because obviously he saw the knife in the killer's hand. Bill goes to check out the generator later, ends up pinned to the door with arrows. Again, show us the cool deaths. Alice is the last one standing, barricading herself as bodies keep dropping. Enter sweet middle-aged lady, Mrs. Voorhees, played, of course, by Betsy Palmer. She goes, "Hi, dear. I'm an old friend of the Christies." She seems nice until she starts ranting. They were making love while the young boy drowned. His name was Jason, blah, 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 blah. Then the mask slips. Obviously, she's the killer. Full psycho mom mode enters. Alice runs, finds all the corpses, and it's machete chase across the lake time, or across the beach. They fight. Alice swings. Decapitation. Pamela's head rolls. Alice collapses in a canoe, drifts off, wakes up later to the most famous fake out in horror: zombie kid Jason bursting out of the lake and dragging her under. This was a last second cliffhanger added by Savini. Victor Miller absolutely hated it. We cut to the hospital. The cops tell her there's no boy in the lake. Alice says, well, he's still there. And then it rolls credits to the iconic key, 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 ma, ma, ma. Victor Miller's whole gimmick was subverting expectation. Everyone assumed it was going to be a big scary man killing them. Nope, it's Jason's overprotective mom on a revenge bender. But here's the thing, you can't try to do a whodunit and never introduce Pamela earlier in the film. And then also, you can't reveal her as the killer when it's clearly a man doing all these kills. We have the invisible stuntman, stunt double problem, where it's clearly a man, like I said. The POV hiding and misdirection, there's overkill in that, and they end up not showing us most of the kills, and when they do, again, clearly a man killing them. There's a mom strength plot hole. Again, this all goes to clearly it was a man killing them. And they tried to say it's because she's an angry mom and that's how she was able to fling people around like that. Some of the female counselors, sure, but not those male counselors. I don't care who you are. Is the reveal still iconic? No. Understandable that she's the killer? Sure. But the way that it's filmed makes it not make sense because of what we can actually see in the scenes where the killer is doing the kills. Positives and negatives. Savini's practical gore is still some of the best that you see. Not the best in this franchise, but it's better than most movies from the 80s. Manfredini's score is an instant classic that lives rent-free in most horror fans' heads, especially fans of Friday. Betsy Palmer's unhinged mom performance is actually good. Again, if they had framed the whodunit better, don't you dare, it would make her a better killer within this franchise. There's a fun premise, and it birthed an empire. Pure 80s slasher fun. It's short, it's gory, and not too over the top most of the time. Jumping into the negatives, the acting is rough. The two best actors in the film die quickly within the film. Then they reveal the twist, and it's undermined by the male double. Again, I already went over that. There's plot holes galore. How does one middle-aged lady pull off everything? The ending fake-out used to be legendary, but it's also kind of cheap even for 1980 because, again, poorly done. I know I've just kicked that dead horse, but still. The best kill for Friday the 13th is probably Marcy's axe to the face. It should have been probably Bill with the bow and arrow, but again, we didn't get to see it. Council decision.
Exile!
There you have it, folks. Friday the 13th, the movie that proved moms are the most surprising killers. Is it flawed? Sure. Iconic? Hardly. Required viewing for a franchise watch-through? No. But it's still good if you just want to watch an 80s slasher. I give it 3 Raging Mothers out of 5. If you haven't seen it, go ahead and give it a watch. Whatever. My wife found it boring. She's given a fresh watch to all the movies in this series as we go through. And again, she found this one very boring, and I believe she found the mother killer a little unbelievable. Drop your favorite kill in the comments. Mine's the axe to the face every single time. Like and subscribe. And whatever you do, don't go camping this weekend. You might die. Or get bitten by mosquitoes and they suck. Stay spooky. Don't trust moms with big heavy sweaters in the summer. And I'll see you next week for...
I don't want to scare anyone. But I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason.
Hey, you guys, look at this.
It's Camp Blood. This place is on the same lake as we're going to be. You still out there?
Jason.
Some sort of demented creature.
If I was you, I'd have located in the next county. Quiet for 5 years, and that's the way we want to keep it.
Legend has it that Jason saw his mother beheaded and he took his revenge. A revenge that he'll continue to seek if anyone ever enters his wilderness again.